Beth Dutton is pointing a rifle at the one woman she's spent all season trying to trust. Mariano's convoy is already rolling toward Rio Paloma, and Carter isn't in a single shot of this trailer. Is Rob Will about to get exactly what's coming to him? Is Beulah still even running this ranch anymore? And where exactly has Carter gone? Let's break down everything in the Dutton Ranch finale preview. Before we get into it, if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you considered subscribing. We cover every twist in Dutton Ranch the moment new footage drops, so you're never behind on this story. Okay, let's rebuild exactly how we got to this point because episode 8 left almost every relationship in this show fractured at once. Beulah survived her heart attack. She's recovering. She's officially with Everett now. And she's actually stepped back from running 10 Petal day to day. But that recovery came with a price, because in the middle of all of it, Austin finally told Rip and Beth the truth. 10 Petal didn't survive the 2010 drought through good ranching. They survived it by smuggling cattle across the border using forged paperwork, the same operation that's directly responsible for the disease outbreak that wiped out Rip and Beth's own herd earlier this season. Joaquin tried to use the murder weapon that killed Wes to finally get Rob Will arrested, handing it straight to Sheriff Wade. But Wade told him it's useless without a body, and Rip had already gotten rid of that body months ago. With no legal options left, Joaquin made the call he'd clearly been avoiding all season. He reached out to his estranged father, Mariano Reyes, saying simply, "Hola, Papa," before asking for help. According to the actor who plays him, Joaquin knew exactly what he was doing. He understood that call might be a mistake, one big enough to hurt everyone around him, but he made it anyway, because he felt like he had no other option left. Meanwhile, Carter's storyline took its own painful turn. He finally admitted to Beth that he'd quit school because what he actually wants is to be a cowboy. Beth gave him the chance, arranging for him to work alongside Rip. It went badly. Carter fought with Rip and got more vulnerable, more honest with Beth than we've seen him be all season. And by the end of the episode, he walked away from the ranch entirely, showing up at Sheriff Wade's old hangout to ask for a job instead. That's where episode 8 leaves us, and the finale trailer makes it clear none of that tension cooled off in the meantime. Let's go through exactly what we're seeing. The biggest reveal is Mariano Reyes finally stepping into the story in person. After being referenced since episode 3, we finally see him walk straight into Beulah's office and tell her plainly, "You'll send your strangers packing, or I will." That's a direct threat aimed at Rip and Beth, and it tells us Mariano isn't interested in a quiet conversation. The trailer also shows a convoy of vehicles heading toward Rio Paloma, almost certainly Mariano's men, which means this isn't just a warning. It's backup. Rip and Rob will finally come to blows in this trailer too, and it's not a restrained confrontation. Rip knocks him down hard enough to draw blood from his forehead, then asks him directly if he's been running drugs. Rob Will tells him he'd rather die than answer that. Beth is right there for it, and she tells Rob Will flatly that he's already a dead man. That's not a woman bluffing. That's Beth deciding this fight is already over before it's even finished. Then there's the moment that's hardest to read. Beulah arrives at the Dutton property and tells Rip and Beth, "You were in a hole, and so was I," seemingly trying to justify everything that's happened by framing herself as someone who was also desperate once. Whatever she's hoping that line accomplishes, the very next beat in the trailer shows Beth pointing a rifle at her. If Beulah came there hoping for forgiveness, or even just a truce, that rifle tells us exactly how that conversation is likely to go. And then, late in the trailer, masked armed men are shown approaching the Dutton property at night. If that really is Mariano's crew, this has stopped being a business dispute entirely. This is the exact kind of violence Rip and Beth left Montana to get away from, showing up right on their new doorstep. Here's the rehook, because there are two things happening quietly in this trailer that I think matter just as much as the action. First, notice who's missing from the center of all of it. According to people tracking the footage closely, Beulah is no longer the one calling the shots. She's stepped back. She's chosen Everett over the ranch war, and she may not even be present when whatever Mariano brings finally reaches the gate. For an entire season built around her as the dominant force in Rio Paloma, that's a massive shift heading into the finale. Second, Carter is nowhere in any of the confrontation footage. After everything that happened between him and Rip, and after walking away to ask Sheriff Wade for a different kind of life entirely, the trailer simply doesn't show him anywhere near the fight that's about to consume everyone else in this story. Whether that means he's staying out of it on purpose or whether it means something else entirely, the show clearly wants us walking into this finale without knowing where he actually stands. So here's exactly when and where we find out how this plays out. Dutton Ranch's season finale, episode 9, titled El Padrino, which means The Godfather, releases Friday, July 3rd at 3:01 a.m. Eastern on Paramount+, with an 8 p.m. Eastern broadcast on Paramount Network the same evening. The official synopsis keeps it simple. Rip and Beth confront a danger that threatens everything. Given a rifle, an army, and a son who's nowhere to be found, that doesn't feel like an exaggeration. Season 2 has already been confirmed, with the show pulling in 12.9 million views in its first week, the biggest original series debut in Paramount Plus history, and the full cast set to return. The only real unknown going into that next chapter is who's actually behind the camera, since showrunner Chad Feehan departed before Season 1 even premiered, and a replacement is still being sought. So whatever this finale leaves unresolved has to survive that transition too. So tell me what you think. Does Rob Will make it out of this finale alive? And where do you think Carter actually ends up once the dust settles? Drop your predictions in the comments. I want to see your theories before the finale actually airs. And if you want the full breakdown the moment it drops, go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate having you here for it. See you for the finale recap.